Hello, everybody. Andrea Twarowski here with Dentalelle Tutoring. First, I would like to say thank you all so much for watching my YouTube videos. I didn't know if anybody would actually watch them or get any information or tips or any help from them. So I'm just so happy to hear that people are. So thank you. A user actually asked me a question yesterday or the day before, and it was actually a very valid question, which I thought that I should talk about. So this YouTube user did ask me, how do you study for multiple tests? I mean, I've talked about it a little bit before about how to study in your dental hygiene or dental assisting program, but I haven't specifically said really how to study for multiple tests. So how I used to study for tests when I was in school was I would keep track of course, when my tests and exams are, because I would often have like 4 or 5 tests all in the same week, literally. And then the week afterwards, I may have 1. Or I may have 6 tests the week after that, but then have 2 tests the week afterwards. So I had wished that my instructors would spread them out, and sometimes they were able to because they all sort of talked to each other and knew each other, of course, but quite often we would have to study for more than 1 test, right, in the same week. So what I did first, I would make note of when my tests and exams are, and I would study 2 weeks ahead of time for each and every test. Admittedly, I would be in class sometimes with my notes from tests for other subjects, and I would be studying well in class. I don't suggest you do that, but that's how I would study for my tests, because I worked evenings and on the weekends to be able to afford food and a place to live, and just to be able to live a little bit too, because I went to dental hygiene school in Toronto, Ontario, and for those of you who are in the area, it's very expensive to live there. So I was there for about 18 months. I lived in a 2-bedroom small apartment with 4 other people. 3 other people. I was the 4th. And of course, we're all females sharing 1 bathroom. So can you imagine that? I'm so lucky to have had them though, because we did not have to pay a lot. We split the rent between the 4 of us. We split, heat, hydro, all of that. So we were lucky. We didn't pay for cable because how we saw it was, well, there's no sense paying for something that we won't have time to do anyway, because we were all in the same program. 3 of them actually went to a different school, but we all sort of took the same program, right? So we knew that we would be studying for the most part anyway, but imagine that. So the moral of the story is I totally understand having to study for 4 or 5 tests in the same week when I worked part-time in the evenings and on weekends. So to find time for me to study and still pass my program was quite hard. But I do have some other tips for you. So as I mentioned before, study 2 weeks ahead of time and study 2 hours per topic every single day. And then you will find towards the closer you get towards your test, you won't have to study the full 2 hours per topic. It's more like a half an hour. So this is what I did. So let's say I had 4 tests in 2 weeks. I would study 2 hours for test number 1, 2 hours for test number 2, 2 hours for test number 3, but I would only study though for 6 hours in total every single day, because there's only 24 hours in a day, but you need sleep too. If you're in class all morning, all afternoon, and then home in the evening, do you want to study for 6 hours? I don't know. It's hard to say, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. Now, if I remember correctly, I didn't work every single night. It was basically 2 or 3 nights a week, and either every Saturday or every Sunday. So I did have time off, and when I knew that I had that time off, I would study those 6 hours, right? So 2 hours per topic. So does that make sense? So let's say you had 4 tests though in 2 weeks, and if you're studying 2 hours per topic, and I said to study about 6 hours a day if you can, that's only 3 topics, right? So let's say you were able to study for test number 1, 2, and 3 on Monday. Well, on Tuesday, study for test number 4 and test number 1 and 2, but then do test number 3 the day after that. So I should probably have this on paper somewhere to make it make more sense, I guess. But just remember, study for 2 hours a day per topic at a maximum, though, of 6 hours a day. If you work every night and every weekend, this will be tough for you. So I would suggest trying not to do that if you can help it. If you have kids at home, it makes it even harder because after school, you will want to spend time with your family, right? But you need to find time for yourself to study. Now, I was lucky in a sense. Some might see it as lucky, some may see it as not, but it took me an hour to get to school every single day, so there and back. But I would study on the bus in the morning and on the way back. So that's at least 2 hours of study time that I was able to get in. If I knew that I couldn't study that night because I had to work, I would study in class. And I'm being honest, let's say we had a class where I knew the material or I knew that we didn't have a test coming up anytime soon. I would take my notes from a test that I did have coming up and I would, study from my notes in class. I would try not to make it too obvious, of course, because obviously that's not a good idea. I'm not saying you do that, but I'm being honest. And your instructors will not like you very much if they see you studying for other things, right? So I would study over my lunch. If I had a break while in school, I would study over that time too. So I sort of made it work however I could. Now, I don't want you to think that I'm saying to study every single chance you get, because you shouldn't be, because you need to live your life too and not go crazy. So let's say you were able to study an hour over your break at school. Then that means you don't have to study that much that following night, and then you could do other things like go shopping, see a movie, watch a movie just at home. You could do just anything else, right? But if you didn't have a chance to, say, study while you were in school, then you should be studying that night 2 hours per topic. So that's why it's preferred to study 2 weeks ahead of time, so that you know that if you don't have that much time to study, say on Mondays and Tuesdays because you have to work that evening, then make sure to focus your studying the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, I made it a rule for myself too, though, to not study as much on Sundays. So Sundays was my day off. I did have to work either every other Sunday or every other Saturday. It just sort of depended on my schedule. So if I knew that I had to work every other Sunday, then I would take that Saturday as my day off. I did still study a little bit, because I was the type that I felt that I had to constantly be studying to sort of keep up on things, but that's just how I am. But instead of studying 6 hours that Saturday, I would study maybe 2, and then that was it, right? But I would study 2 hours before I had to go to bed, and then save my Saturday morning and my Saturday afternoon to do anything that I wanted. Now, it's preferred too to sort of even out your studying, so you're not studying like crazy, and then the week after say, okay, well, I have no test coming up, so I don't have to study at all, so that may work for you. But how I did it was I would sort of keep track of when I had tests and when I didn't. And if I saw that I didn't have a test the week after, that's when I would do most of my studying, was that week, so that I wouldn't have to be studying like crazy for week number 1 and then not have to study for anything week number 2 and then have to study like crazy again for week number 3. So does that make sense? Now, if it doesn't, please just email me, let me know, and then I would be happy to help. And I do help students with this also in the student program that we have. So I will actually help you. Like if you say to me, you know, I have 3 tests next week, I have 4 tests the week after, I have a project due the week after that, you know, how do you suggest I manage my schedule and manage my studying so that I can actually pass everything? So let me know, and then I will actually help you with everything. Like I will give you that actual study that's not study, that actual schedule that is personalized for you, so you know exactly how to study and when to study. Now, I like it also because let's say you have your histology test coming up, your instrumentation test coming up, your test on root canals coming up. Now, I have notes on all of that stuff that I have made myself from a variety of textbooks. So they are in either the PowerPoint format or PDF. So let's say you have a test coming up and you are saying to yourself, well, I have read the textbook so many times. I have read my notes so many times. You know, like I want to read something else to possibly help to assist in my studying. So I'm studying in a new sort of way and format. Well, I have notes all for you on every single topic that you can imagine in the dental hygiene curriculum and the dental assisting curriculum also. If I don't have something, you tell me and then I make it up. You know, I do a new PowerPoint, a new PDF, I come up with new mock exam type questions for you. So I do everything because this is what I do and I love it. So if you haven't had a look at the student program yet, you should, because it is amazing and students love it. In fact, I had a student, Tina, sign up just the other day where she's in semester 1 of her dental hygiene program, week 3. So she's pretty excited, and she has at least, she said, 4 tests coming up, plus a project, plus an exam, I think she said, in 2 weeks already. But I have been able to help her. She was having trouble in one of her classes, and she had said to me, you know what, I'm having trouble already. It's week 3. Could you actually teach this class to me? You know, we have learned this and this and this so far, but can you sort of reteach this class to me so that I can hear it in a different way and possibly learn in a different way too? So I did exactly that, and that helped her so much. And she did not have to pay any extra for that because it is all included inside of the student program. So please have a look. It is awesome. And keep on watching these YouTube videos. If you have any more questions, please let me know because I am happy to help. I will see you guys all in the next video.